Hello and welcome to Coffee with Dhari Live, which is now a podcast. But I'm really excited this week because I'm doing something new and I have a special guest with me here, Jessica Haywood of Café con Leche Planner. It's a stationery company. I'll let her jump in a little bit more, but welcome,
Oh,
Jessie. I'm
thank
so
you.
excited to have you.
I'm so
I
excited to hear.
Jessie and I met on Threads and I just fell in love with her whole concept. I actually have the box here. If you haven't seen the unboxing, I can link it also, but I have all the things still in here because I need to get myself organized, but I'm so excited to use the things. How are you this morning? I
Oh
know
my
it's super
God.
early.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I'm good. It's another day and I'm thankful for that. So it's all good.
Awesome. So let's jump right in, Jessie. What was the inspiration? Like, when was that moment where you were like, I want to start a stationery business?
So I've always loved stationery.
Yes.
I always go at the beginning of the year, see, a calendar. There was times where I had a couple different ones, and this particular year, I want to say it was in November of I think 2021, and I went to Target. Now, mind you, the Target in my area is the demographic is high Spanish, right? So I was like, oh,
Yes.
I'm definitely gonna find something. And I went there and I remember looking and I was like, these are very bland. This is not my personality. Like, it's
Yeah.
so bland. And I walked around and they literally had just like, a little section. And, I went to the end caps and to see if there
Yeah.
was anything there. And I was like, okay, why don't we have anything in Spanish? Like, and
Wow.
then, and then this is what I said. I said, oh, wouldn't it be cool if somebody came up with a Spanish planner? And I left it at that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Came home, and then I had this planner, and I was actually like editing it, like, oh, I would take this out, like I wouldn't take, so I was not knowing what I was doing, but I
You
was
were
like,
creating your own planner already. That's
yes, and I
amazing.
said, oh wait, but oh, we can add more stuff to it. So I was like editing it. I was like, it has to be in Spanglish, like the months, the days in Spanish. You know what I'm
I
saying? Like
love
things
it.
like that.
Yeah.
And then I was actually taking a course. I was doing credit repair at the time, and
Okay.
my the instructor, the coach, she was like, she had already a planner business, and so we
Okay.
started asking her questions, and then she came up with a class. I'm like, I'm totally going to do that.
Yeah.
And while I waited for her to release the class, I started doing my own research. So then I started asking my friends, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about this? They're like, girl,
Yeah.
yes, go ahead. And so then I was like, okay. So I started drafting. But to me, the biggest thing is like I needed a name because the name would
Yeah.
kind of like everything else would fall under, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so I contacted somebody else. I did a consult and was like, hey, I explained to her what I wanted to do. And she's like, yeah, she goes, write down all these names and then, you know, start kind of like process of elimination. So I was
Yeah.
like, Café con leche. And then I went to, what's the website for, the website, but to trademark.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So I was like, okay, I don't want to step on nobody's toes, right? So let me go ahead and do a trademark search. And so I put in Café con leche, but it was a lot of restaurants. And with everything that I was learning about trademarks, I can trademark because it's totally different business.
Stationery. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, let me go ahead and reach out. Let me get an attorney because I'm not about
Yes.
to invest all this money.
That's so important, especially like, I talk about brand strategy a lot, and sometimes we don't know. And that's part
Yes.
of investing in your business in the beginning is to
Correct.
have all these pieces in place because you
Yes.
don't want to get in trouble. And then down the line, somebody's
Right.
like, I'm going to sue you for that.
Correct. And so I was on social media and I would see a lot of people be like, oh, I had to change the rebrand because I
Yes.
was served a cease and desist. I was like, not,
That's not going to be
nobody gonna
me.
serve me.
Yeah.
So I reached out to an attorney. So I finally narrowed down the Café con Leche because to me, growing up Latina, I was drink coffee like 4 years old. That would be
Yeah.
something like across the board, right?
Right.
And that would be like our start of the day. Like I remember mommy tomando café con leche,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like you kind of like sit there and you have to plan your day of like what you're gonna do. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay. And I liked planner, but I was like, that's too basic.
I
And
love
then,
that.
I was playing around with words. And I was like, hey, I can do planner. So then fast forward, I reached out to the attorney,
Yeah.
and as it was moving along in the stages, I was planning everything else. And then I realized, hey, this can be more than just a planner. I could do journals.
Yes.
I
Yep.
could do stickies. There's just so much more can, branch off of that. So that's what I did. So I actually did not I would get samples of my product, but I actually didn't order anything until I was trademarked, until she's like,
Okay.
we're good.
Yeah, yeah. So you didn't put it out there. You didn't
Correct.
start any of the okay. I think that's smart. I think sometimes it is good to move on things, but it's smart to also because if you had to, worst case scenario, the name was taken and you had to start over, at least you didn't start putting things out there and have to take things down and start
Exactly.
that whole thing over. But I love that. I love
But
that.
what I did do was, as soon as I reached out, no, I think even before I reached out to the lawyer,
Mhm.
I held all handles Café con Leche Planner. It's free,
Yes,
right?
so
So I
smart.
went across the board. I went to YouTube. I even
Good
got a Twitch,
job.
and that's for gaming, but whatever.
Well, I mean, you don't know down the line, and this is
Right.
again an important part of talking
Yes.
about brand strategy and
Yes.
thinking forward
Yes. And
is let's
yes.
take even if you don't plan on it, just hold on to the
Hold it.
handle. If
Yes.
anything, you can redirect traffic, you can put a post that says thank you, but if you really want to get more frequent updates from us, this is where we live. Like this is where we're actually
Correct.
interacting. Yes.
Correct. So I held
Very smart.
everything. And I wanted, and again, with branding, with everything that I was learning, I was like, it needs to be consistent. So Café con Leche
Yes.
Planner
Yeah.
was like my Facebook, my Instagram, I think with Threads también, but Twitter, because I'm only
Yeah.
limited on the name. So
Yeah.
many, what's the words? Well, anyways, I had to cut it down, but I made sure that Twitter and another one matched. And I have a LinkedIn. So
Yeah.
I went crazy. I was like holding everything. I was like,
I
yes.
love it, but you need that
So
because we have to think ahead. It's all
yes,
in that brand strategy and that marketing, and yeah, and then this wasn't your only business. I do want to talk about that this wasn't your only business,
correct. So
or you've done things before, but this isn't the
I've
first
done,
rodeo.
yes, this
Yes.
is, I've done businesses before. So by learning the previous
Yeah.
ones, I was like, okay, this is what I need to do. Because,
Right.
all the other ones were like, yeah, let's just try it. But I didn't invest in
Yeah.
them.
Okay. That makes sense.
So
That
then
makes
when
sense.
it came to this one, girl, I didn't even tell my husband. I didn't tell my family. I didn't tell nobody what I
No,
was
this was
doing.
like a secret project. I love
Yes,
this.
because I was
Yeah.
like, yo no quería
It's a
hacer,
good
these
idea.
people. Yes, I didn't want to talk and then it not work out and then I look bad. I was like, let me just
Yeah.
hush hush about it. I reached out to the girl who designed my logo,
Yeah.
my lawyer, of course, my best friend. I was like, girl,
Yeah.
what do you think? She's like, girl, yes. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And then
It's so good because
yes.
there wasn't anything out there like that.
No. And so I was just like, then that at the same time that I was doing my research, I was asking girls, I was going to the store. I went
Okay.
to what's that big bookstore? Ay, ay, ay.
Barnes& and Noble.
Yes. We have one here. So I went there
Yeah.
and they had a stationery section. And believe it or not, they did have Spanish ones. But
Okay.
again, it was like
Not cute, not your style.
no, it was not cute. And I was like, okay, was this an American person who used Google Translate to do this?
Yeah, so that cultural flavor was probably not
Yes,
there.
it was
Yes.
missing. And I was like, no. So then I started remembering like growing up, things that mommy used to say, things that we used to do, and I was like, that's a big part of us,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
huge. And then I would talk to girls and they would say, oh, when we came to the country, my parents they did not want me to speak Spanish. And I was like,
Wow.
oh,
Like, that's still happening? I know. My mom was not like that, but that happens with so many not just
yeah.
in our culture, but, like, a lot of cultures. If you think of, like, the Italian Americans that came over, it happens a lot where you feel like your child's gonna get confused or you want them to assimilate to this new culture. So
Yeah.
you're like, "I need" or our parents or grandparents were like, "Oh, I can't. I have to hold back because they need to learn how to assimilate here and blend
Yeah.
in." Yeah.
And that just hurt me because growing up,
Yeah.
my parents were very, you're Puerto Rican. And, like my
Yes.
first language at home was Spanish.
Same with me. Yeah.
We go to school and learn English. So he just made it very proud for us to be Latinas, and like there's nothing wrong with that, absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And he would make me, he's like, you have to be proud of it, it's who you are. So again, when I was listening to these girls, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, like this is we have a beautiful culture,
We
like
do.
it is amazing, like, it's just it's amazing. So then when I started designing my other products, I was
Yeah.
like, you know what, let me go ahead and do some illustrations with women. So
Okay.
again, while I was getting trademarked, right, while that process was
Yeah.
going, I was reaching out to Latina artists. Well, that was
Yes.
my goal, was to do Latina artists. And then a lot of them didn't reach me back, so I was like, okay, you know what, let me just go to a woman artist.
Yeah. It's hard, we try to, and this is one of the questions I had and you started answering already, but when it comes to representation of Latinas entrepreneurs in general, it's hard to kind of find each other. And that's why I'm so happy that I found
Yeah.
you and Threads. I feel like there are Latina communities out there. I'm not going to say that they're not. There are, but we have to do a little work to find each other.
Yes, we do. And like the one who did my logo and my
Yeah.
website and everything is Dominicana. And I was like, okay, good. And
Okay.
that was her business. Then I had a woman lawyer. So I really tried to
Yes, and these are some of the
uh,
I just if anyone's
yes.
watching this, I have these next to me, or I'm getting this is
And
my
that one was
favorite
inspired
one.
by my grandma, my
We had
mom's mom.
dolls like that because I'm Dominican, and we had the dolls, they're made out of, like, clay or whatever, and my grandma always had several of them, and they had
Yeah.
no faces, which was
Yeah. And then
kind of
again,
cute, yeah.
okay, so I'm from back east. I'm from New York. So when we moved to Vegas, like nobody knew what Puerto Rican was. Going to
That's so
school,
interesting.
nobody knew. Everybody, when I went to school, I was either mixed, black and white, or I was Mexican. And then when they found out I spoke Spanish, they're like, oh, you're Mexican. I was like, no,
Not automatically, no, that's not how it works.
this is not. And so it was a lot of me explaining. They're like, well,
Right.
why don't you look like? And so that whole thing of what does a Latina look like? We
And
don't have.
we don't have there's no one definition. If you look at my cousins,
Exactly.
we all look different.
Okay, so I remember growing up in New York when we would have, when la familia would get together, I
Yeah.
was just amazed of like the color spectrum, and how everybody, this is what I remember. I remember dancing, food, and laughing. Like that was it. And I just remember everybody dancing with everybody. Everybody's eating. We're just having a good time.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody were loud, that's for sure.
that's for sure.
But it was beautiful. And then when we came here, I had, on my mom's side of the family, she had a sister,
Yeah,
but they weren't like the loud part of the family, and that's what I was
right.
used to.
Yeah,
And so it was it was a culture shock,
yeah. To
because
move to
also
Vegas and see,
the way we would speak, they're like, oh, you can't, Mexicans, like I realize there's a lot of words that we say that are bad words.
yes, I know, it's so interesting, and I think that's what's a little complicated about being a Latina sometimes, or just, it's even within our own cultures, there's so many different
Dialect?
backgrounds and
Yes.
language
Yes.
and dialect yes,
Yes.
dialects and, just it's complicated, people, but,
Yes.
here we are trying to help each and I wanna go back a little bit to just being an entrepreneur in general. Um, is there anything you faced in your entrepreneurship journey as specifically as a Latina? Or do you feel like that hasn't been really a factor for you, or you haven't noticed?
Okay, as an entrepreneur, like getting the business aspect done, to
Yeah,
me, I liked it, right? It didn't matter if
yeah,
I was Latina. That was kind of like,
right.
but getting it out there,
Mhm,
it is, I wouldn't say hard. It's because there's nothing out there. There's nothing,
right.
that we don't have Spanglish stationery. So when I would present it, everybody would go crazy over it. They loved it, but it was just hard to just like, I guess, keep that momentum going. Um,
Or
because
say or even sorry to interrupt you, have have you tried to go into, like, brick and mortar stores?
Yes. So, and okay,
Okay.
so I've gone into, well, shout out to Tacotarian, because she is amazing. We met at an event. I actually
Mhm.
gifted her, because
Okay.
that's another thing. We do I
Yes.
did a lot of PR, a lot of,
Yeah.
just to get it out there. and she fell in love with it, and she let me put my stuff in her restaurant.
Amazing. That's so,
And
and it's so
so
unconventional. Again, if any entrepreneur is listening out there, stores or like the conventional way to do things, it's not always the blueprint. You can go outside of that. Like that is so
exactly,
genius. So
exactly.
genius.
And she would hold like Fresh Friday events. And
Hmm.
so we would, in front of her restaurant, we'd set up.
Yeah.
Um, I have someone else who has a bookstore. I can put my
Okay.
stuff in there. So it's really one of those things. One thing my dad always told me when I was young was like, Jessica, you always ask the question because the worst they could say is no. So I literally be asking
Yes.
folks.
Okay.
I have no problems asking.
Another lesson. You're full of gems because that's the other life. You don't ask, you don't get. And that's so true. I
Exactly.
mean, even if it's weird, like just ask the
Just
question.
ask.
You're right. They're gonna say no,
And
and
that's
then okay.
everything in my life that I do, I ask. And my
Yeah.
kids look at me, my kids were like, Ma, you gonna ask? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask.
I have to
And
do
a lot
more
of
of that myself. Yeah, of
yes, just
course.
ask. Like, girl, you go to a restaurant, you ask for something, and like anywhere. If that little curiosity comes up, you're like, maybe I should ask. Girl, ask.
I
That's
love that.
it.
If
Just
there's anything
ask.
you remember from this is
Just ask.
just ask. And
Yes.
also don't be afraid to break the mold because if you're an entrepreneur, you started this business for a reason. And just because things go in a certain order does not mean you have to follow that order because it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to work for you that way.
And this is where the Latina part come in is
Yeah.
that I remember again doing some research and whatnot, and I would reach
Yeah.
out to or vice versa, they reach out to me, people who social media managers and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
And we would talk, but I'm like, you don't speak no Spanish, so how are you? What are you bringing to the table? Because
Yeah.
I need somebody bilingual. So that was another thing. And like I did get a lot of people wanting and reach out for my products, but they're all English.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, well, maybe I have to rethink this because my stuff is in Spanglish. So if you're wanting to learn Spanish, this could also
Right.
help.
Yes. Okay.
But it's for Latinas. Like all my illustrations are us. I mean, they're women,
Yeah.
but
They're
I did it for
beautiful. Yeah.
us because it's like,
Yeah. Like I can't, this is so beautiful. I love it.
and
Yeah.
oh, and that's another thing. As far as entrepreneur, all the illustrations, I own them. I have contracts with
Oh,
my artist.
amazing. So smart. That's
Yes.
genius. Yeah,
So
of course.
that's another pointer. That's something else that I invested because I wanted to make sure that nobody could take this away from me. As I was
Yeah.
doing it, I realized like, oh, I'm so passionate about this. Oh, we need this. Oh, we need. So I wanted to make sure that nobody can come back and say, oh, Jessie, yeah, you owe me for that. No.
Yes. Yeah, I love
Maybe I
that.
can go to you and say you owe me for that. You need
Right.
this, but not the other way.
Yeah.
Not the other
Jesse,
way.
you have planned out your business so well. And it's a lot of it's small things that we tend to overlook. And it's part of the reason why I've been shifting my business out of social media and more into brand strategy because so many people want to start businesses or they start businesses and they don't have all these little things in place. And it's amazing that you have those in place.
Yes.
So what like are there any lessons? I know like marketing, you're working on that. Um, what are you what has worked for you so far?
Honestly, when I go to events, like,
Okay, so
okay,
tapping into community is big. And of
yes,
course I know that because that's how we met is because you were tapping into the community. So it seems like
yes,
that is a big thing for you. And
yes,
especially with such a niche product, you have to lean into the community.
yes. And this is another thing. I thought about our community and I thought about their colors, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So I have highlighters and I have pastel
Yes.
highlighters, and then I
I have
have
those
some
too.
shimmer ones. Now, don't get
I'm
me, I
gonna
was a highlighter girl. Get me the yellow highlighter, the pink, the blue, all those. I
I'm a
love
highlighter girl
them,
too.
right?
I'm gonna keep pulling things out as you talk about them. But these are the highlight gorgeous colors.
Yes, and so I
Yeah.
wanted something like um feminine colors, light colors, right? But we need a variety because again, as Latinas, like, okay, go to Puerto Rico, go to Cuba. What colors do you have? The bright, all the
Bright
bright.
blue, the bright pink, the houses are all painted different colors, these
Yes,
weird combinations that you probably wouldn't put
right.
together out of
Ex-
necessity, right? It all came from necessity because we probably had to use whatever paint you could get your hands on.
Correct. But look how beautiful it
But it's
is.
gorgeous.
It
Yeah.
is actually, and so even though I love those highlighters, I was like, we need more color, we need more options, you know. And I
Yeah.
wanted something smaller, and you know, again with the highlighters, they're bulky. So every time you would put them on a desk, guess what? They would roll. You put them on
Yeah.
a book, they would roll.
So
So
smart. Not
those
Jessie's.
don't
They
roll.
are square.
They're
If you can,
squares, so they're not
they
going
are square. They're
nowhere.
not going anywhere.
And then I'm left-handed.
Oh, I loved this. When Jessie and I were chatting, she's like, and it's a question you don't get asked very often. She's like, "Are you right-handed or left-handed?" And go ahead, Jessie, tell me here.
Okay, so the reason why I ask is because as a lefty, I don't, I don't have any pens with me. As a lefty, growing up in school, going to school, I used to hate. I would have to turn the pencils or the pens, anything that had logo. I had to turn it around so I don't see it, because as I'm
Okay.
writing, it would be upside down.
It would just okay, and it would be
And it-
distracting probably to see.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's so distracting. And so I was just like, okay, so because I could create whatever I wanted to create with my
Yes, it's your
company,
business.
I
Yeah.
was like, hey, I asked my manufacturer, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and give me some pens left-handed? And he was confused. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, reverse the logo. Let's go just reverse it, flip it upside down, you know? And he's
Yeah.
like, and he also was like, well, he's never had to do that. And I said, yes, we're lefties out there. And now
Yeah.
I
Oh my
love
God, I
writing
love
with my
that.
pen because it's actually the logo correctly.
I love
And
that.
I have some highlighters
Mhm.
for lefties as well. So
Yeah.
some of the highlighters are lefties. So when I ask, are you right-handed or left-handed, it's for that purpose. So I make
I
sure you
love
get the
that.
right one.
I love that, Jessie. It was such a like it was just a question I don't get that often, but it's amazing that you're catering to left-handed people because we do know that they are not
We
appreciated,
exist.
not appreciated, but like there's not accommodations, and that can be hard. It sounds silly, but it makes a difference. It makes
It
people feel
does.
seen, it makes them feel special, and
Yes.
I love that about your
Yes.
planners.
Yes.
And is there anything that like you've tried that like absolutely didn't work?
Okay. So going back to the planner,
We
I
like to be
create.
honest here. We have to
Yes.
because we have to the struggle with entrepreneurship, it's never a straight line, right? It's always like
No.
up and down and up and down. And
Yes.
if you're
Yes.
diving into entrepreneurship, this is for, I like to market this towards people that are in business, starting their business, starting a startup, who knows, but it's never linear. And
It's
it's
never.
you think
And
it's gonna go this way, and it's
right. Because, you
it's
know, to
not.
me, and I'm one, like, I need a visual. So literally all my journals I like did the draft. So it's my highlighting, how I wanted it to look and everything.
Yeah.
But we have to, it's okay to shift. It's okay
Yeah.
to, call an audible.
Pivot
It's
or
okay to,
yeah.
like, if your mind, you're like stuck on this and you're like, that's not going. So with me, again, this all started with a planner, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I designed the pages inside, even like the months are in Spanish,
Yeah.
but my actual planner, I did not like the end result.
Okay,
That
so
my
you went through the whole process, you went through drafts, you finally got like the sample, right?
Yes. So I
And you were
have
like,
inserts.
"No."
So I decided to go inserts, and I decided to go no without a date, because this was the other thing. When I would go buy a
Mm,
planner, everything was dated. And I'm like, okay, what if I buy this in July? Now I wasted all these months.
I feel the same way, yes. And I
Okay.
don't write in my journal like, the way that I do my to-do list and stuff, it's not always every day, like, sometimes I have to carry things over, so I just stick to the same day, so to have days is, like, kind of stressful.
Right. Because then again, it's begin because they I was like, oh, when you look back, be like, oh my God, I was supposed to do that like 5 days ago. Now I'm like on a guilt trip, and now I'm like feeling
Yeah,
horrible because hello, it's on my to-do list.
yeah,
So I left it dateless. So you could put
okay,
whatever date and start whatever date. So I
okay,
have the inserts for, I believe it's the A5. So the actual leather binding that I created,
yeah,
I designed, I didn't like the end result.
okay,
So I kind of like, I stopped that. I was like, you know what? I'm already stressed out. I got to sell what I already have. So I stopped. But
okay,
I sell the inserts for A5. I sell so I have a 12-month calendar. It's 12-month
mhm,
calendar, monthly
okay,
and weekly and daily. So
okay,
and what I did is I put sample packs together so
nice,
that we can decide okay, I'm a daily person. Oh no, I'm okay.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't know. And this sounds, I mean, again, this sounds silly, but like when you are an entrepreneur, you have your own business, it's just you and your lists and figuring out what you need to do every day. And so sometimes you don't know what that process is until you are in it and you're writing things down and you're like, oh, this like the monthly doesn't work. Or maybe the monthly does work for you. And maybe you have a second journal where you do people work in different
Yes,
ways. And sometimes you don't know what that is until you start going.
exactly. Exactly. So that I did, I do have the inserts, but the actual,
Yeah.
it's on hold. I
Okay.
did, excuse me, I was working on a men's line.
Okay. And then you didn't decided
I
not
put
to
that
go.
because it was overwhelming.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I have and what's crazy is I already have like everything ready to go as far as my samples, right? I
right,
just have to go out there and promote it. I have to, because I
right.
have a little girls, I have a nana
Aw.
collection
Oh, so cute.
specific
Nana
for the nanas,
collection.
So I have
I
one for
love that.
nanas and I have one for men, but it's kind of like, okay, I need to just like pause because again, as a solopreneur,
Yeah,
you have to do everything. And let's not forget like what's the back end. You have to do the
right.
taxes, you have to do the
Yes. Oh
licensing,
my
you
gosh.
have to
No one
pay your
talks about that
fees.
part.
No. And then you're so caught up with this end, you're like, oh my God, I forgot to go pay my late fee or my fee for my business
Yes.
license. And then I'm hurrying up on the online, be like, oh my God, now I gotta pay a late fee because I put and then it's
Right.
like I did write it down on my planner, on
I
my
did it.
to-do list.
That's why you need to get yourself a Café con Leche planner.
So
Duh.
it's like, you do so much
Yeah.
and then there's burnout. It
Then there's burnout. Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it's burnout, and that's where I've been. It's just like it's a lot.
Yeah.
It really is,
And this
social
is not
media.
your only this isn't your main thing. Like this isn't you're
Correct.
not full time on the planners just yet. So you're working on
Yes.
that. And I'm sorry I
Yes.
interrupted you again. I
Oh
just
no
had a
no no,
point.
but this is
But
like,
you were saying social media
yes, social media, as we know, that's like, you know, that's that's a lot. That's
challenge.
intense. Yes, it's
Yes.
challenging. And for one who doesn't like, I had to mentally prepare myself, be like, okay, Jess, you have to go on
Mhm.
social media, you have to do this, you have to do this.
Right.
So mentally, I have to prepare because anything back of the house or in the backs, oh, I got
Yeah.
that. I have no problems. I can
Yes.
do all of that, but
Yeah.
just getting on the camera and trying to, and
Yeah.
then they would say, don't sell anything, just be yourself because then sales will come. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my
No,
God.
but you need to ask for this. This is I'm glad you're bringing this up because this is my wheelhouse.
Yes.
But I'm gonna tell you that yes, you do need to show up authentically, but you need to sell. You do need to sell because I think that's a mistake a lot of people make. I've made the mistake before in the past too of not being clear about what I wanted to do. Like, is this a blog? No, this isn't for fun. This is, and the blog could be monetized. So don't get me wrong when I say that, but this is a business, and if people don't know that you're selling something, they just won't buy it. You need to tell people, and people aren't seeing you. They're not seeing every single thing that you post. So it's okay to sell and you need to sell. You need to be like, "Hi, you love me for this, but here are my planners and you need to buy one. And this is
Yes.
how you buy them. Here's click here."
Yes. And then I think that's my I'm not okay, believe it or not, I had a real estate license, right? So I
Wow.
have like that's what we are,
Yeah,
salespeople.
you're
But
you're salespeople and marketers, absolutely, and event
exactly.
throwers. Event
Exactly.
planners all in
But
one.
what's crazy is that I never advertise. I never people
Right.
believe just call me, they love the personality, the easygoing.
Yeah.
So I was like, I never had to sell because I was just being myself. And they're like, hi
Right.
Jessica, I loved your energy. Oh my God. And I'm like,
Your energy
okay.
is amazing. Yeah, that's why I wanted to chat with you. Even just the and even just the exchange through text because basically we were just texting and
Yes, we were.
threads messaging each other. And
Uh-huh.
even that, like your personality is in fact, and I was like, I need to get her on camera. This can't just be like her sending no, I want to do something more.
Yeah.
And I'm glad hopefully you can take this interview and use it and share
Oh,
and put it out there because just
yes.
the passion just comes through when you are on camera. And this will also be a podcast episode, so you can send that out to people. But
Thank
yeah, it's just you are an infectious energy, and I can see why you don't have to sell also. But I understand that it is a challenge for entrepreneurs solopreneurs to have social media as an extra thing because, like you said, the challenge is everything that you have on your plate, right? Because
It
we are the
is.
boss, we
It
are the
is.
fulfillment center, you
It
are
is.
the financial back of house, you have to be the face of everything. So
The
it is
graphic
a lot.
designer,
The graphic designer,
IT, I was just like, the
customer
banker.
service, the bank.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
you're
Exactly.
everything.
And,
Yeah.
and and
So
that's and that's what and it's very rewarding because I was able for actually last year for Hispanic Heritage Month, I was on our
yeah,
local news, I was able to be on a
amazing.
segment, but
Yeah.
I did that. I reached out to them, I was like, hey,
Right.
and then they're
See,
like,
you have to be PR too. Yeah.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
it is very rewarding. But again, for those who are getting into it is tiring because
Mhm.
those memes and stuff that goes out, oh, you quit your 9 to 5 to be your entrepreneur, but now you're 24/7. That is
Yes.
it.
Yes, that is it. And you will wake up
Yes.
at night like, "Oh my god, I forgot to do this," or "I had this great idea," or "I should really be
Yes.
doing XYZ."
Yes.
It's a 24/7 thing, it really is. And it's also
24/7.
like a journey into yourself. It challenges you personally in ways that like you could not imagine. In how you work and how you communicate and how you get things done.
Yes.
If you have to be really real with yourself, like, can I handle all this? Can I not? What am I good at? Where do I need help? That's a lot. That's a lot to process. So
It is a
it's a
lot,
journey.
but you know what? It's a journey as well because now, like, because of what I've been through, I tend to go to Latina-owned business, women-owned business
Yeah.
first. So
Yes.
yes, I might pay the little extra because I can just go to Walmart and get it. But
Yeah.
when we get a sale, the excitement when
The
it goes ding,
excitement.
and
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I want them to feel that, like, hey, I'm supporting you, like
1000%.
genuinely supporting you. Like, I don't ask for discounts. I don't ask for like, hey, send me. I don't. No, that I support you. I've
Yeah.
done a lot of business that way. And so when people buy from me, like they really don't know the excitement I get. Oh my God, oh my God,
You need
oh
to
my God. Like
I
it's
love
that's
that.
how we
Yes.
are.
That's
I'll
how it
screenshot
is.
it to my family group chat, be like,
Oh my
we got a
god,
sale, oh my
not on the family group chat, that is so cute,
God. I
but
do.
that's
We
how
got a family
exciting
group
it is.
chat
It
because
does
it
make you
is.
more yeah, it doesn't make you more conscious, and I think that's the journey I've been on this, past couple of years is just really trying to find people in my community to not just connect with, but to support and get behind, and yeah, I just when I put I wanna collaborate, I was so excited that you responded and actually followed through because that's the
Because
other
you
thing, it's like
asked, remember? You asked,
I
right?
asked. I
That's
did. I
right.
asked and I received. And I got to meet Jessie and hopefully we, become friends forever after this.
Yes.
But really, I was just so and I it was a unique product, a unique company in general, and all the touches of our heritage was just so beautiful to see and on display. And I hope that one day I can see these sitting in Barnes and Noble or
Or
whatever,
Target,
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 that,
Walmart,
that's that's
everywhere,
that's
all over the
that is my
place.
next. That's what I'm working on next. I've
Yes.
gone. Um, I'm researching on how to do that to
Yeah.
be in Target, because eventually, I want this business to support my family
Yes.
down
Yeah.
the long
The
run.
generational wealth, just start that,
Yeah.
and we have the opportunities. I think as, um are you first generation here?
Yes. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because your
Well, no.
parents
See, my
came?
parents, they were born in Puerto Rico and moved to New York, so I was born
Okay,
in
so
here.
yeah. Okay, same with me. My parents are from Dominican Republic and my mom came here. So
Yeah.
they worked so hard to give us these opportunities, and especially it's 2024 and we have the internet. Like, it's
Yes.
all the opportunities are out there, and I want anyone with an idea, literally anyone with an idea
And
to
that's it.
try. Just
Exactly.
try, and
Just try.
yes, and you're gonna maybe waste some time, you're gonna waste money, it happens, it's fine, but don't limit yourself because your tribe is out there, your people are out there. Like Jessie said, just ask. That's what I did. I got to connect with her, and just discover this whole new world I'm diving into, and really getting to support other Latinas
Yeah.
is feeling very um, fulfilling, and I want to do more of it. And yeah, I want to see us win, and so that's why I want to talk to
Yes.
other women in business and help everybody get out there, and maybe even if it helped you just practice to be on a
I
on an
know, right?
interview and get your feet under you. And anytime you have questions after, please feel free to
Yeah.
reach out. But yeah, I just try.
Yes, just try.
The
And I want
opportunities are
to
in
say
front of
something real
us.
quick
Yeah, go
because
ahead.
I've noticed I've gotten this question a lot. The box that you got, that's my shipping
Yes.
box. People ask me, "Oh, how can I purchase the box?" Like you
Just
can't.
the box?
That's the shipping box. So
That's
whatever.
so interesting. It is a
Yes,
nice box. I
yes.
actually it's funny that you say that. Someone actually DM'd me and they were like, "Oh, I saw you unboxing it." I'll show this here again. They were like, "I saw you unboxing. I have a question because it looks like a good quality box. Like where does that box come from?"
Exactly. And I
It is a
designed.
beautiful box. It came like this and it has
Yes.
the packing sticker on the back. But yeah, it is a very nice
Yes.
box.
And that's what I wanted because again, branding, I was like, I'm
Branding.
going
Yeah.
through the UPS, I'm going through FedEx, like
People will see it.
people will see it. People will see it. So that's why that's my shipping box. So when people order, I had that one in a smaller size if they,
Okay.
get little, the smaller stuff.
Yeah.
Pero because of branding, that was my intention was for that was I'm going to be going through the mail. I'm going to go visiting through some states. People are going to stop and like take a look at the box.
Yeah.
So on the back of it, I put the website.
Yeah.
Again, it's branding. So I wanted to make sure that I'm known.
Yes, and actually, let me open it again. There was you were really smart. I wanted to say that because you had a handwritten note, but then you had a sheet in here with all your social handles or stickers. There's like all these ways where it's small touch points, but it's always a reminder of like, hey, here's where you can see me, here's where you can find me.
Yes.
And I loved that, so I wanted
Yes.
to bring that up. Of
Yes.
course, I can't find it now because I opened this box and took some stuff out. Um, and didn't put it in all neatly like you had it. Jessie's also very intentional about packing these. So
Because
that's
it's
on
again
me.
intention. I wanted you to receive it como un regalo. So when you get
That's
a
how it
gift, you
was.
open it, right?
That's how it was. And it was beautifully packed as you saw in the video, or you didn't, I will link it here. Um, it was an experience to open. The fact that you put coffee beans, I opened the box and I'm like, "Oh, what's that?" And I'm like looking and I found the coffee beans. Like, this is genius. It's so smart. I loved it is an experience to open the box. So you definitely hit the nail on the head there
Oh,
for
thank
sure.
you. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you so much for reaching out, for following through, for making this happen. I just really
It-
enjoy getting to know
My pleasure.
you.
My
I've
pleasure.
I've loved getting to know you. Your business is like it's just genius. It's so smart. It's needed. And I really do genuinely hope that I get to see you in Target and everywhere so I can be like, "I got you."
Yes.
Not just that, we need more representation out there. Hispanics are such a large part of the community here in the United States and
Yes, we are.
beyond. And we need more representation. We need to support each other. And yes, your
Yes.
branding is on point. You've really thought about this from beginning to end, and that's really smart. You're not just kind of there's nothing wrong with just throwing things at the wall. I do it myself, and you do need to try. But once you have an idea that sticks, you need to follow through on all the steps, and you've done
Yes.
that for
Yes.
sure. Is there anything else that you would like to leave people with? Tell us your website, but besides that, is there any piece of advice for any Latina business owners out there that you'd like to leave them with?
I just think that we have amazing ideas and there's a problem, find the solution. And that's what a lot of business come from that. There's a problem.
Yeah.
And the problem was I didn't see any Spanglish stationery, created the solution. So do that. If there's something you'd be like, God, somebody needs to do this, you be that person,
You'd be that
you be that
person.
one to create it. And because we have the internet, there is so much more at our fingertips, access to do research, so
Mhm.
much more. You can, Google, YouTube, Insta, even TikTok, and so you just put in there how to or something. Like
Yes.
it's amazing, amazing the information that we have.
Mhm.
So what's something, what could have taken 6 months to do, you literally could find in like 30 days and you narrow it down. Even manufacturers are happy to send you samples. Like just
Yeah,
ask, just ask. That's all you have to do is just ask. So
I love
yes, go for the idea that's in your head, that is like swimming in your head. Yes, girl,
that.
bring it out the pool. Let's go.
If you ever tell yourself, remember Jesse's voice telling you to just go for it. Just do it.
Just do it. Just do it. Just go for it.
And you
And
can, yeah, go ahead.
oh, I'm so passionate about it because you
Yeah,
know what
go.
it is? Because at least you tried. If it didn't work out, you can
Yes.
say, nobody can tell me nothing because you know what? I tried, you didn't. So next, let's go.
Yes,
Next.
absolutely.
You know,
Love
you
that.
tried. Nobody can tell you anything. And nobody's going to have as much faith than yourself. Your family will
Mhm.
support you and they'll be like, yes, we'll support you, but it has to do with you. And
Yeah,
if it and if you don't sleep at night, you know, if you're on your lunch and you're doing research, but it is so rewarding because at the end of the
yeah,
day, you did it. You
yeah.
did it. It's your passion, and nobody can take that from you. Nobody.
I love that. I have one thing to add to that as you were saying. It's also it can be kind of a lonely journey, but just know that community is out there. Jesse and I found each other.
Yeah.
There's tons of women online trying, just trying, trying to
Yeah.
make their families better,
Yep.
trying to get their ideas to fruition. So if you don't have support in your life, we're out here willing
Yes.
to cheer you on and being like, yeah, girl, I've been there crying over
Yes.
my over my business. You can figure it out. You got
or,
this.
or or this look like, oh my God, what did I just do? I've had
Why
that
am
look
I
plenty
doing
of
this?
times.
Yeah. Or the days where you're like, why did I decide to do this? We're
Yeah,
here. We are
exactly.
here to help
Exactly.
you get through it. We want to see you win. Jesse, you can find Café con Leche Planner at
Yes.
cafeconlecheplanner.com.
Yes.
There's so many cool things on there. Like Jesse mentioned, left-handed pens and highlighters, stationery journals, just an array of really, really beautifully thought out pieces of stationery for all of us that
Yes.
need organization, which is everyone.
Yes, girl. Yes, we do.
Well, thank you again, Jesse. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.
Yes, I'll see you.
Bye.
Ciao.